Anyways, this is the 34th one that we've done. 34th. Yeah. I don't know if you're lucky or if I'm lucky this evening. I dodged the bullet, or you dodged the bullet. East Carolina plays this evening. We play football tonight at 7:30. And if it was a home game, I don't know if you would see me. I might be there. With season tickets, I think I might be there. But then I asked my dad, and RTP is really good to us. They're a client of ours. So my dad said, no, son, you will be there. I do not care what is going on at ECU. You will be there doing RTP 180. So here I am. Luckily, we're playing a team tonight that hasn't won all season. So tonight, luckily for them, they're going to probably get their first win. So that's always good. If you can't tell, I'm getting over losing my voice. I lost it over the weekend. I've been trying to find it all week. I just found it today. Again, lucky for you. So, who, for the first time, is here tonight for the first time? Raise your hand. It's not right. Where have you been for the past 24 months? Did I get rocked or something? Okay, well, you know what? So, the holidays. Who's ready for Thanksgiving? That's coming up next week, right? Yes. Yes. You know what stinks about Thanksgiving? Diets. Who has already gone on a diet preparing? None of you really be honest with yourselves. Really, yeah. You know what I love about diets? Day 2 is the best day. Day 1 sucks. Day 2, you've already given up. The best day, you've gone back. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I got. That's all I got for you. A lot of people would love, they say, hey, you don't really ever talk about yourself. You don't really fill us in. One, the bowling team, if you have been here a couple times, we have lost. So I bowl every Thursday night, so I skip bowling. We have lost like 6 straight weeks in a row. Thank you very much. So we were dead last there out of like 25 teams. And 2, the love interest that I've been telling you guys about, not my love interest. That's going very well. Thanks for asking. But yeah, put a deposit on Marine. Yeah, that's huge. Thank you. Yeah, she doesn't know that, so hopefully she's not watching the live stream or here. Actually, she never comes here. She says, I don't want to see you up there being a fool. So that's probably why we're still doing very well. But the love interest that I've been telling you about, the people that connected at an RTP 180, that has fizzled out 100%. And I have no new stories for you. Yeah, I have no new love stories for you. So if you've connected here in a loving way, let me know. That's great. Business is one thing. You can pass business, make referrals, all that. But if you found love here, I want to know. I really do. I really do. Okay, so who am I? My name's Will. I own a company called Fanbase. We are a full-service marketing firm located right here in the Toronto area. And I love getting to know new people. 3 people took me up on my offer last month when I said, I would like to get to know you guys. I don't ever get really a chance to hang out with you all. I'm busy prepping the speakers and setting all this stuff up. I don't get to mingle. And afterwards this evening, I'll be taking it all down and heading to the football game or to watch it. So I love meeting you guys. If you would like to hang out with me, I would love to grab coffee with you. I did this the first month. I said this, 0. None of you. None of you took me up on it. It's okay. 3 people last month, and it was a lovely 3 people. We had coffee together. We learned a lot about each other, and you know what? They were really nice people. And I hope that they are here this evening. Actually, if you're here, raise your hand. Or did I scare you off? There's 1. Yes, hi, Teresa. Thank you for coming back. I didn't scare you off. 2, yes, Kristen, nice to see you. All right, so you can connect with me. Shoot me an email. I'd love to get together, or just tweet to me at Will Hardison. So, I told you guys, sometimes it gets a little wonky. There we go. Okay, because I know you care, we can look at my life through photos. That's right. I've got a little time to kill since we only have 4 speakers this evening. That's me. Yep. Longer hair, a little longer. That's right. That was a thing. Overalls, no undershirt. That's my high school senior photo. I have a problem. a big problem. I had over 200 new students. Big problem. That was the cover of a heavy metal band that I was in. Hell and Death Rise Again. Yep, didn't go nowhere. And that's me in character for him. Yep, cute, huh? All right. Okay, so one thing that I would love to talk to you about is actually what you're going to learn about this evening. What the heck is social entrepreneurship? It's not entrepreneurs who are on social media. No, it is the attempt to draw upon business techniques to find solutions to social problems. I'm not going to read all that, but you can. A great company that does something like this is oh, we don't get back. No, I'm kidding. There you go, Tom's. One for one. You've all heard of Tom's shoes, I'm sure. And of course, the 4 companies that we have this evening are great examples. I will let them tell you their story. But if you're not familiar, for every pair of Tom's shoes that you buy, they give away a pair to somebody in need. A great social entrepreneurship. So, because 90% of you have never been here before, how does tonight work? Speakers get 5 minutes to share their stories, their passions, and about their companies. Once the speaker hits 5 minutes, Cameron, are you ready? Because they're going to hear this sound. I didn't give them. Oh, 1 second. No good? No good? There you go. Entrepreneurship, but you know. So, you ever hear that sound? That is their ding, basically their gong, that their 5 minutes is up. If they haven't finished at 5:30, they get the get off the stage music. We will inch it up. Now, they really don't have to get off the stage, but it's just a reminder that we are on a time limit here of 5 minutes. So if they are at the 5:30 and hear the music, they're supposed to wrap up. I'm surprised I haven't gotten the music yet. The speaker closest to 5 minutes without going over doesn't really win anything, but it's just nice that they can do that. After each speaker, tonight, since we only have 4, we will allow 3 questions. They better be good. I have 2 up there, but 3 questions. And rules and regulations. This is where I have to get a little testy. My mother is a school teacher, so it does come down into me a little bit. Please be respectful. Do not talk during presentations. This room is a very hot room. We took the ceiling out. We have no floor. It bounces everywhere, sound, everything. So if you're talking in the corner, over here, over there, we can hear you. It travels. Just text each other. It'll be a lot easier. There is plenty of food. Plenty of food. I don't know who it is tonight, but there is plenty of it. Please do not get up early as the last speaker is wrapping up to stand in line. Me and that speaker will get in line and pull you back down. Be social, but do it online. You can use hashtag RTP180. And leave the space like you found it. Please, please, please pick up after yourself. RTP is so gracious to let us use the space and give us the building and everything like that. So please just pick up after yourselves. I know there's cups, there's food, there's everything. There are trash cans everywhere. It's very easy. Just please pick up after yourselves. And I do not work for RTP. I do tell jokes. If you have an issue, my mother's cell phone number is 919-800-8677. That's actually our fan-based office line. So that's where all the new leads will go as well. We can talk. I do love a good joke. This is the last slide. I'm kind of a big deal. Get it? Here's a pickle. All right. No? Okay. It's going to be a tough night for me. It's going to be real tough. I didn't warm them up at all. All right, Christina, are you ready? First up, we have Christina Smith. Christina is a consultant at the Redwoods Group, a socially responsible insurance company in the Triangle, and the leader of the NCB Corp Champions, a diverse group of business, university, and investment leaders that are dedicated to using businesses as a force for good. This year, Christina was awarded the 2015 B Corp MVP Award, given annually to the single person worldwide who made the most contributions to the global B Corp movement. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Christina Smith.
Will mentioned, and I'm so excited to kick off tonight's RTP 180 and tell you about the rise of the North Carolina B Corp movement. But first I'm going to start with a quote from the economist Milton Friedman. He basically argues that there is one and only one social responsibility of a business, and that is to maximize profits. And yet, in recent headlines, you might have read in the news examples of corporations putting profit above all else, including the environment and people's health and well-being. But don't lose hope. This is all about social entrepreneurship, and the B in B Corp stands for benefit. B Corp certification is to an entire business what LEED certification is to a building, or USDA organic certification is to milk. B Corps are companies that take a rigorous assessment that measures their social and environmental impact, and they have to meet rigorous standards of performance, accountability, and transparency. B Corps are trying to find a better way to do good business, better for their workers, better for the community, and better for the environment. And while all of this may sound too good to be true, there's actually great examples of successful B Corps. For example, for the holidays, you might be shopping on Etsy. But what you don't know, or what you might not know, is that Etsy actually has been inspired by the B Impact assessment to hire workers with disabilities. Or maybe you might grab a pint of Ben & Jerry's when you need to eat your feelings. But what you might not know is those ingredients are all sourced locally and as ethically as possible, and they are committed to paying their workers a fair wage. Warby Parker, the disruptive eyewear company, they've been quoted as saying that they're able to attract millennial talent all thanks to their mission. And I'm actually back in the Triangle to work at, I kid you not, a socially responsible insurance company. And we work with child-serving organizations, and our mission is truly to keep people safe. Just to give you an idea of the scale of this movement, there's almost 1,500 certified B Corps across 42 countries and 130 different industries. I'm quick happy. But they all have one unifying goal, and that's to redefine success in business. In North Carolina, we have over 30 certified B Corps across the state, and all of our 20 of them are actually in the Triangle. And you're going to hear from Bull City Burger and Brewery tonight in Week 0, so get excited. And a group of local B Corp leaders actually came together to try to convince B Lab, the nonprofit behind the B Corp movement, to bring their annual retreat to the Triangle. And just to give you some perspective, trying to win the B Champions retreats like trying to win the Olympics. So we put together a massive campaign, and sorry, of course my PowerPoint's like moving ahead of me. But we put together a massive campaign that focused on bringing together our local B Corps, and it culminated in a massive event at the American Tobacco campus, where hundreds of people showed up to learn about B Corps and to drink free B Corp beer, of course. And the great news is we won. And in 2016, yeah, that's right, get excited, over 500 leaders in social entrepreneurship are coming to the Triangle. And the most exciting part is you're all invited to be inspired. It's an event that will include TED-style talks with B Corp leaders, a festival, a concert, and it's all to celebrate people using business as a force for good. So how can you get involved? Oh yeah, the Will Hardison move works. The most important thing is, if you're not doing already, is to start measuring what matters. Using the free impact assessment, it is a free tool, and the goal of it is it actually teaches you best practices in business, and it will teach you really new and exciting things. If you want to get involved in our movement, check out our website, ncbcorps.org. There we go. You can learn more about what we're doing, and you all can also check out our mailing list. And if you want a more in-person experience, check out Triangle Startup Weekend Social Impact. It's being held here at the Frontier. You get to spend all weekend with a bunch of fun people. It starts on Friday night with a pitch event, and it goes through, people form teams around social impact ideas, and then by Sunday you actually pitch in front of investors, basically Shark Tank style. So it's a lot of fun. So I leave you with this. It is our responsibility to be the change. And while all of this might sound idealistic, it is my vision that all businesses in North Carolina will compete not just to be best in the world, but will compete to be best for the world. Thank you.
Question one. Anyone? All right. Julie Terry.
Great job. Who would you say are your top 3 B Corp companies out of North Carolina? Not sure any favorites, just curious.
Well, maybe I'm just sucking up, but I'm gonna say I love Bull City Burger Brewery. You're gonna hear from Seth tonight. And not only do they have amazing food, but just he does such a great job talking about how a restaurant can be used to force for good, and they're working on Poppy Area's social impact. I'm also a huge fan of Maria Kingery and Southern Energy Management. They work on solar panels, and they're doing just a lot of great work in the clean energy space. And then, gosh, it's so hard to pick. We've got Steve Monty here from Solidarity Capital. He's inspiring investors to actually invest in these companies to prove that you can get a return on your investment while making an impact.
Next question.
And you, Jeff.
Thank you, Christina. So now that I'm all jazzed about social impact and entrepreneurship, and I want to get involved with social impact startup weekends, where do I go to sign up?
That was a lot.
Well, the website is live, Yasmin, correct? Okay, bit.ly/ make a social impact. So we strongly advise you to get involved and sign up. It's going to be so much fun.
Mark, last question.
I just came from back there.
Can you maybe go over some of the things that businesses have to do to actually be a certified B Corp?
Sure. So what's good is I did try to put marketing materials around the edge. But to truly become a certified B Corp, the first step is measuring what matters. So getting on the free B Impact assessment. The good news is if you end up not going through certification, it really is just a free tool to understand best practices and governance, the environment, how you interact with your workers, and just your general business model. But in order to actually get certified, you have to meet the standard of a score of 80. And it's 80 out of 200. 200 is impossible. If you get on it, get a lot of no's, that's okay. It's actually, it doesn't take away from anything. Basically, it rewards every possible best practice that you can have. And so it's additive and it adjusts for your industry and size. So there are sole proprietors that are B Corps. There are LLCs that are B Corps. And then the biggest thing that B-Lab is really passionate about is that you actually bake in your mission. So B-Lab was founded in such a way as by 3 guys, and 2 of them were actually the leaders of And One. And what happened was they were kind of inspired to start the B Corp movement because there weren't standards of accountability, but also when they sold their company, a lot of what was great about it was just stripped out, and they felt that that shouldn't be the case. So to become certified, you actually have to bake in your mission by changing your your corporate articles of governance. So then I think there's a third step. You have to sign the Declaration of Interdependence, which is awesome. It basically says that you agree to maximize stakeholder value, you agree that businesses should be conducted as if people and place mattered, and it's all about the true ideals of this movement.
So, so what is that back here, Christina? Hey, so I see that from a high level perspective. What does that mean? Like, what's an example of a best practice? Or what's an example of maximizing stakeholder return?
So whenever you're thinking about maximizing stakeholder value, not shareholder value, so shareholders is just about money. It's all about the bottom line, where stakeholders are your workers. So what kind of benefits do you offer workers? How do you treat them? Do you give them time opt to volunteer. The environment, so do you even measure your environmental impacts? I mean, some companies don't, and that's a starting point. I'm trying to think of others. And then do you have a business model that makes a social impact? So for example, my company works with primarily nonprofits. Some companies work in the environmental space. Other companies, for each industry, it depends. And that's what's so great about the assessment is it's free, it's just an exploratory tool, but yet by getting on it, you're going to learn something. And every year it changes, so, and it gets harder, as I'm sure Seth can attest to. Did that help?
Woo, yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Nice job. Way to set the bar. 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Of course, we wouldn't expect none other from the 2015 MVP of B Corp Corporation. So that is awesome. But I did tell all the speakers, I was like, don't worry, they're all going to be softball questions. I didn't know we had planters out there. Come on now. It's like a bunt. Okay. Leon, you pumped? You ready? How about a little smooth music for Leon? With a name, you kind of have to with a name like Leon, right? Yeah, that's real smooth. Yeah, that's real smooth. All right, Leon from Cocoa Cinnamon. Leon is a lover of coffee, chocolate, language, and history, and excuses to make people happy and participate in creating and thriving community for all. Ladies and gentlemen, Leon.
I don't have any slides. So I thought about a few different ways to start. One was starting off by talking about my friend Mildred. The other one was espresso, and the other one was how I fell in love with my wife, Borelli. And I opted out of all of those this afternoon. 5 minutes, you gotta make a choice. So the news has been kind of heavy lately. And, so Christina was amazing. And I'm going to kind of take it kind of deep real quick. And hopefully we won't stay there. The news has been super heavy, and because of that, I actually wanted to take a deep route today. And I don't specifically want to talk about any of the places or events, but I wanted to touch the feeling that I think we all, that comes upon us all by encountering this news. Cocoa Cinnamon is a coffee shop. We love and sell coffee, chocolate, tea, with spices, and ideally with swine. And in part, our basic job is simply that, is to serve something, hand it across the bar, and have a moment in somebody's day where we can make them feel good. In some ways, that's our enormous training program is about getting that to happen. And on the other side, it's about getting something else much, not more important, but also more substantial to happen. So Cocoa Cinnamon is kind of an odd name for a coffee shop. It comes out of the history of spices. And the history of spices plays out really strongly in our menu. We have drinks called Aleppo Shook. We have a Rumi, we have a Montezuma, and that comes out of the history of coffee, which started in East Africa, or the history of cacao, which started in the Amazon and came up through what's now southern Mexico, tea in China. And we kind of don't copy those histories, but we're amazed by them and inspired by them. And so our whole menu embodies that, and then our design plays off of it. Just as an example, for anybody who's been in the shop, the front room floor, on one hand, it should just be something that's really pretty, and then you might find out for the first time now that it's actually an excerpt from a Rumi poem, a Walt Whitman poem, and the brainwaves of Andrew falling in love with Carl Sagan that got printed on the golden record and sent into outer space, translated into binary code and mapped out on the floor. We're working on opening a new shop. Heather Gordon, the artist who did that, is currently on our upper cabinet, creating the design of the geocoordinates of the history of coffee. You'll never know it unless somebody tells you. And so in some ways, the shop is this kind of field, on one hand of simple pleasure, and on another hand, almost like a etymological search and archaeological dig where you kind of find things. We're really interested in that act. It's almost like going to another country and finding a new border, or the act of just kind of digging and a pleasure, kind of like when you travel. The way that plays out that applies to tonight that we're interested in is something that we almost hardly ever talk to the public about, and I'm going to do so now in our training program. So we put a lot into our training program. Really, before somebody could register, they'd spent 7 days of intensive training. We use this word in our training program, which you all are probably going to think is totally nuts, but it's actually really important. It's a word from a Heidegger essay called Entrepreneurship. And it means, well, you can't really quote Heidegger out of context, so I'm doing that, I'm just roll with it. The quote is, the destiny of revealing isn't just any danger, but the danger. I'm going to super quickly translate it, I've got probably 2 minutes left. The way we think about it in our training program is kind of like a predetermination of the way in which something unfolds is somehow negative. We can talk about that with espresso. In espresso, our goal is to tie together grind size, air temperature, moisture, temperature, all these tiny little things to find the sweet spot in the way we extract espresso. In some ways, our shop is supposed to be a shelf through which discourse can happen. And we work really hard to make it feel inviting to people. Yes. I bring this word up because, one, we talked about it in our training program. We never talked to the public about it. And so we use this word as a root. So if you think about the patterns of history, and you think about this tiny little shop on a corner in Durham, if we can use our buying and our selling, our hiring, our giving, the way that we work with artists, the way we work with the community, the way we work with our employees, and use this as the catalytic root for our behavior, then it becomes interesting. So that's part one. Part two is, I'm going to go about 2 minutes over. Part two, so we have engineering group. Part two is, well, what happens when we actually succeed? We've been incredibly fortunate. We started out with $75 in the bank and no credit, and now we're opening a second shop. We have 24 living wage employees. When we succeed, what do you do with the extra money? If you grow poor, what do you do with that? I don't need all that. And this is where this idea of the inverted American dream comes up. The idea of enough is plenty. Like Aurelia and I, we need money. We need to pay my student loan debt. We need some health care. But at a certain point, you make more than you need. And that's where some of the things I heard Christine talking about, how do you now use that money? And then you step back and say, how can we use this business to live the most amazing lives and to participate in creating amazing lives with our employees and with our community? And then how can we actually work towards making the most amazing workplace? The one hesitation I have in discussing social entrepreneurship is it's not a finished thing. It's like being healthy. It's never even close. But you use your root idea and you create your patterns. You create your production and your systems and your engagement to follow this end value for us as best as possible. And it starts producing results. For us so far in 3 years, last year we bought 90.2% of our goods and services from North Carolina companies. We have 24 crew members, all of them are paid above living wage, and we are working towards career wages for long-term employees. We are able to give paid time off for longer-term folks, and I'm getting off the stage. That's pretty much it. Using the patterns for allowing us to.
about coffee. You said that you have the 92% of the from North Carolina. Are we producing coffee in North
We're
Carolina?
not. That's an important question because as we continue our development, that number will go lower. Right now, as we buy from other companies, we don't grow certain coffee. So the coffee, chocolate, mix of tea in South Carolina, you get coffee and wires, Puerto Rico. We are buying from companies that are based in North Carolina. Realistically, if we took the coffee and the chocolate and the things that you can't grow here out of it and bought directly, that number would go down. But as of right now, it's only 2%.
So you started with $75 in the bank.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you would be here? And what does it feel like to be in this place where you have extra money you don't know what to do with?
Then I need another 5 minutes, but I'm just kidding. I don't want to be over humble. In a way, it's extraordinary. And the one thing I did, the other name in the talk that I was going to add was Little Waves. Our business was started with what appears to be nothing. Like if you read Entrepreneur magazine and it tells you what you should have, we were the exact opposite. We took a very different strategy, which is much more like an independent filmmaker. Like I have nothing and I write a script and I'm going to induce forward and people are going to. In Durham, we have a friend, Milton. This is one of the versions I was going to tell. Milton says Durham is the most encouraging place he's ever been. And we started off on a bicycle, Aurelia, on a bicycle. And people just started helping us. People brought us over their house and introduced us to folks. We're opening our second shop in Old West Durham. John Shelp sitting here is already in on introducing me to folks about how we could succeed in business and also serve the community at the same time. And so what happens is the business becomes this kind of point that people can rally around and drop tools off, or you give something and you get something. It's much more of a participatory economy. And so I think once we got married, I was so fortunate that I could get anything possible.
Nice work. I hated to cut you off, but we hit 8. We hit 8 minutes. I hated to, I could tell like your passion was just coming through. And I've had crooked cinnamon before. I've been there. It's delicious. So if you ever need a great place to take a date, crooked cinnamon. And you can call, well, go to Bullshit Burger. They cook cinnamon afterwards. There you go. You can put those gift cards in the back room. That'd be great. All right. Joshua, sir, are you ready? How about some music? A little tune we have for you. Okay, all right. Yeah, you can. What? You sure? Okay. Okay, no, I'm good. I'm good. Ooh. All right, Joshua Coley, Harry, did I say that right or close? I'm sorry. All right. It's Director of Public Engagement for Waste Zero, a certified B Corp that helps cities reduce the amount of trash they create, save money, and protect the environment. In past lives, Joshua has worked as a reporter, an academic, a management consultant, and a bread baker. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Joshua.
Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. I am going to talk to you about something I think about all the time, and you probably think about not very much to not at all. Trash. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. I want to share with you some of what I've learned about how when you look at, in this case, trash, but this is a really important lesson for all kinds of social entrepreneurship. When you take a large system, you make a small change to it, you can have a tremendous impact. In my case, in Waste Zero's case, it's trash. It doesn't have to be. The lesson is large systems, small changes, large impact. So Waste Zero is a proud North Carolina B Corp. We're so happy to be one. We are a mission-driven company. Our mission is to take the amount of trash that's created in the US, all of it, and cut it in half. So that may seem to you, like it used to seem to me, like an unattainable goal, an audacious goal, a stretch goal. But I can tell you from experience, because Waste Zero has done this with hundreds of cities, it's completely attainable. And we do it all the time. So I'm going to talk to you today about what we do and how we do it. Hopefully there will be some lessons in there for broader applicability about social entrepreneurship. We have such a great community in North Carolina. I hope that some of the lessons that we've learned are ideas that we can share with you as you think about, and others think about how to grow social entrepreneurship in our region. So we're going to start with an idea. The way we deal with trash has changed, but we have not kept up with that change. So a few generations ago, it was completely common in a lot of communities to take trash to what was literally a hole in the ground, at the edge of town, dump it in there, walk away. And the next time you needed to do it. Well, the way we deal with trash has changed completely since that time. It's not nearly as simple or as inexpensive as it used to be. Today, we're creating enormously more trash than we used to. So there's a lot more of us, first of all, but also a lot of our trash is not nearly as recyclable or reusable in the packaging as it used to be. It's immensely expensive to handle our trash. Part of the reason it's expensive is because modern landfills and waste incinerators are complex feats of engineering that cost a lot to manage and maintain. But another reason is because we're not taking our trash to the edge of town anymore. We're taking our trash dozens or hundreds or even more than that miles away. For example, in a lot of cities in New England, their trash, they throw it away at home and it ends up in a landfill in Indiana, Michigan, South Carolina. So the costs of dealing with this are immense and they're staggering in a lot of cities. When you look at their budgets, they're looking at 6, maybe 8% of their municipal budget is going to waste management. That can be a crippling cost. Finally, waste today is environmentally hazardous in a way it never was in the day of the town dump. First of all, there is, if you think about some of the toxins in our electronic waste, that's in our waste stream now. If you think about our food scraps and our food waste produce methane, which is the most potent greenhouse gases. So, we're not composting like we used to when we all lived on farms. So this is a problem. This is a system that is unsustainable. As I said, the trash system has changed and we haven't changed along with it. Part of the way that we haven't changed, and this is a key part of Waste Zero's business model, is that how people pay for trash hasn't changed. In the days of the town dump and today, people by and large in the US pay one set amount for their trash no matter how much they throw away. So it could be, you could put 5, 10 bags, I could put 1 bag. If you're a great recycler, you could recycle nothing. You're gonna pay the same amount. So maybe it's buried in your property taxes, maybe it is a line item on your municipal bill, on your water bill, for example. But so at Waste Zero, we're committed to the idea that that has to change. And this is how we do it. We help cities set up systems to meter their trash, to treat their trash like the utility that it is. We call it pay as you throw. The idea is that people pay by the bag. Paying by the bag creates an economic incentive every single time people throw something away to think about the cost of their trash. Those costs are financial, those costs are also environmental. You're thinking about the cost of your trash. You're far more likely to recycle, to compost, to donate your used clothes or bedding or your old electronics. And this has a really profound impact on the cities that we work with. So if I had an hour, I could give you 30 examples. I have 5 minutes, 8 minutes, and I'm going to give you one example. The city of Waterville in Maine started a program with us, a pay-as-you-throw program. People pay by the bag for their trash. They started this program in September of 2014, and in the year that followed, the amount of trash that they create went down by 54%, more than half. Just look at that picture. It's an amazing picture. But there are real benefits that go along with that. So, first of all, in 1 year, they saved $164,000 just in the cost of disposing of their waste. There are some other financial advantages too, because they're not trucking as much waste away. And so there's some operational savings, but just $164,000 in the cost of their waste. And then the environmental benefits are really profound. Using some EPA data, you can see that the greenhouse gas benefit is like taking 830 cars off the road for a year. Think about that. A small change to a big system can have profound positive effects. And in terms of energy savings, this is the equivalent, because there's more recycling in the world, because there are more recyclable goods in the system. Making new goods when you're manufacturing them is much more energy efficient from recycled goods because you're not mining virgin goods. So you have an energy savings equivalent to powering 310 houses, fully powering them for a year. So, like I said, I think about trash all the time. I hope that you might think about trash now too. You can see here that this model, bringing metering to trash, treating it like the utility that it is, we already pay for how much water we use, how much electricity we use. You never leave your kitchen sink running while you went to work for the day. That's having awareness of the costs. We work with cities to bring that same awareness to the cost of trash. So when you do that, you'll see it's great for municipal budgets, it's great for the environment, and it also happens to be a good way to grow business. Thank you.
Yes, this is a very important thing, obviously, and at my age, I've seen it for years and years and years, these growing dumps and so on and so forth. However, how do you convince people or corporations to stop making products that have to be grown?
It's a great question, and it's a large and complex system that we're a part of. And part of what we as Waste Zero aim to do as we grow, from city to city, from state to state, and regionally, is to create more and more demand for people to call on their manufacturers to produce less, more packaging that's more recyclable. But it's a systemic thing. I mean, I think it only happens over time as we build the groundswell. That's part of what we're advocating to do.
Great talk. Now that we know that nothing really is thrown away, because we're still on the same planet, what opportunities do you see, especially social business opportunities, in dealing with waste, other than the waste that you guys already addressed?
That's a great question. I mean, there really is a great kind of ecosystem or infrastructure of social impact businesses. And here in the triangle, we see it, that grow off of this, once you put this in place. I'll give you two examples. One is that we've heard anecdotally from Goodwills that, and I'm sorry I don't have the number at my hands right now, but there's a pretty large percentages of Goodwills in any city where we start to work, have people start to do metering their trash. The amount of textile and bedding donations that Goodwill see goes up dramatically, so there's that benefit. But we also, for example, work with curbside compost collection, small businesses in some of the cities that we work with. There's compost now here in Raleigh, which is a great business, and we support them. And there's a kind of whole infrastructure of waste production that can happen.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. I like that you guys have a lot of questions. I'm sure I saw a couple more hands, but I'm sure these guys, the lady will hang out afterwards, since we do have food and all that. So I'm sure they'll be happy to talk to you. Now, I like this next guy because one, he's got a few jokes of his own in his bio. And so that kind of makes me feel like we can have a little fun with him. So I'd like to tell a joke, if that's okay. I know I haven't really said one all this evening, so if it's okay with you, I'd like to say a quick little corny joke. And so I have a question for you guys. Why is there gambling in Africa? Too many cheetahs. Yeah, and you know who started that rumor, don't you? Well, the cheetah turned around and says, "Nah, man, you lying." Lions, get it? Yeah. Wow, tough crowd. Well, so Seth and I were talking, and I said, "Hey, man, I hope you don't have any long words in your bio because I did go to ECU, so 4-syllable words hurt." He said, "No, man, all you have to do is remember bull, city, burger, and beer. You pretty much got it." So I want to bring up Seth from Bull City Burger and Brewery. I like this. I like what you say here. You say if you like the restaurant, he's the owner. If not, the owner is in the office or away from his desk. Yeah, Seth also likes, are you single? Okay, good. Well, yeah, well, because it sounds like you're trying to write like a Match.com profile. Seth likes short walks on long beaches and poking at dead things with sticks. Yeah, that's not going to get too many dates. He's also committed to the triple P bottom line. So that is people, planet, and profit. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth.
I have 5 minutes. Listen up. Here we go. All right. 3 Ps. If I was a CEO of a traditional company, I have a fiduciary responsibility to make money for the shareholders. When I started Bull City Burger and Brewery, I knew I wanted to do something different. I didn't know how to put that into words, but I knew that restaurants have kind of a reputation with them. You know, they have a high failure rate, and the owners make a lot of money and cash under the table and all those things. Squeak here. And I didn't like that. I wanted to do something different. And so I started thinking about how can we be different? We started to challenge a lot of different things. And I learned very quickly that I didn't want to be a CEO. I wouldn't be successful if at the end of the day, all we did was make money. I want to take care of the people in our company. I want to take care of the community. Those are the people, the 3 Ps. I want to make a profit, but I also want to take care of the planet while we do that. And I'm willing to make a lot less profit. In fact, we continually each year make less profit. But that's okay. Because like most restaurants, when we started, we had high employee turnover, and we had all the traditional things because we started out doing it like every restaurant does it. I think I'm supposed to start the slides, right? We are a fine dining burger joint, and we started like a traditional restaurant. And we made burgers, and we made beer. I wasn't trying to be deceitful calling it burger and brewery. You know, people come in and go, "You don't have Chinese food? You don't have tacos?" Burgers and beer, that's what we do. But we take a different approach. We make everything from scratch. I mean, mayonnaise, mustard, pickles, relish, sauerkraut, bacon, buns, the hot dogs, veggie burgers, the pound cake, the ice cream. In fact, we make everything but the ketchup because we couldn't keep up with the ketchup. Y'all eat a lot of ketchup. But we were doing everything like a restaurant does. And we, in our first year, 140% employee turnover. I said, why are we doing it like everybody else does? I want to do it differently. And we started to evolve and change. And I thought, well, what is going to keep people here? I mean, you don't go to a restaurant as a waiter or bartender and think, this is my career, rest of my life. It's always something you do until you get to the next thing. But I said, I want to find a way to keep people here. So we started asking them, what do you want besides money? And it turns out our employees started telling us, what about gym memberships? What about paying for parking? What about helping with all these other little things, kind of like Maslow's pyramid? If we start taking care of these other needs that our employees have, maybe they'll hang out a lot longer. And it started to work. And it was pretty cool. I didn't think in the beginning beer would change the world. We actually have this sign hanging in the brewery and the restaurant. And I look at it every day when I walk down the hallway. And I've started to learn 5 years in now, I think beer actually is going to change the world. The way we're doing things, and a lot of other businesses are doing things, and a lot of breweries are taking on this B Corp thing, I think that there is potential to make a change in how we do things. Yeah, brother. But the best thing about us, it's the people in the company. We make burgers and beer, but these people are the ones doing it every day. So I've got to take care of them. and looking for little things that makes their lives easier and better. We pay for work shoes. You know, if someone says, you know, my feet hurt and I've been wearing typical sneakers, whatever, we're walking on concrete floors all day. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, it's terrible working conditions, right? But we wanted to make it better. So we started looking for all those things that would make it better. And then we started to challenge some of the things that we do. We do things differently there. Here's just one of many examples. You're gonna love this. Okay, there's typical trash, but most restaurants have one trash can. And I said to myself, why do we put so much trash in the dumpster every day? I don't like that. It doesn't need to be that way. So we got the blue recycling can. You kind of have to do that. Right? The city of Durham says you got to recycle. And we all have those blue cans at home, and we're used to that. And I started taking it a step further. I said, well, what if we could do better than just blue recycling? And we added in paper composting. So there's a paper bag inside there that's actually leftover grain bag after we brew beer. It comes in a paper bag. We put that in like a trash can liner. And then when you come to eat in the restaurant, all the napkins and the little wax circles go in there. I want to point something out interesting here. Most of what I see in there, these brown things, they're napkins. So we have this thing that everybody loves and hates about us. When you come in to eat, you get one napkin to start. People hate it. But our rule is simple. You can have as many napkins as you want. I don't care. But let's start with one. Because we realize not only do we have to change, but we've got to affect behavior. Because what do you do when you go out to eat? You go up to the napkin holder in the restaurant and you do this. We all have to get about 45 napkins and put them on our table to make sure that we've got plenty of napkins. We only use one or two, but we've got to make sure we've got plenty. And then we added the food compost. We started putting all of our food scraps in there. It now gets composted. Both of those things return as soil to farms. I'll wind it up here, hopefully. That's our trash can in a restaurant. It's literally a little black trash can that goes under a desk. That's what we put into the trash every day. Our value statements right there, best pickle chips, support local farmers. Yes, we made that. No high fructose corn syrup, no hydrogenated fats. We only support farmers that raise cows on grass in North Carolina, no added hormones, no antibiotics. Yeah. And then, all right, don't penalize me, this thing's going slow here. All right. You look at things like the tables around the restaurant, recycled North Carolina barns. We have 5 of these tables built just by Roger Dinger, just for the restaurant. Hart Pine, Chatham County, the farmhouse was built in 1837. They're fantastic, but it's a way of reduce, reuse, recycle. And then I found out there were a whole lot of people out there that think like I do. It's kind of comforting, actually. And this B Corp thing started, and we finished the certification 2 years ago. And we became the first B Corp restaurant in North Carolina and the first brew pub in the world. Yeah. And I want to let you know that we're starting a new program here in Durham. It launches in December called We Can Build It. It's a campaign. Triangle Full Steam, Pony Source, Bull Durham Beer Company in Bull City. We're going to be selling 5 packs of beer. They're 32-ounce cans. $75 a box. We're going to sell 667 of them. And at the end, we're going to build a house with Habitat for Humanity in Durham for someone who needs a home, all through craft beer. Thank you for listening. All right. I can take 12. The game's not for 30 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think consumers can put their money where their mouth is and support your business. which I was just there on Tuesday. I thought that was really funny. The last photo on my phone before coming here was my burger, because I food porn. My question is, what can you do to help other restaurants get on board with your mission?
I hope that they hear the story and inspire them. Restaurateurs are a little funny. You have to be a little crazy to get in this business. So we wouldn't want to force it on anybody, but telling my story seems to be getting out there. You know, we get the numbers. We actually work with a company called Food Forward, paper waste. We get a weight every month. When we started this, we have 2 restaurants, Pompeii Gates and Bull City Burger, next to each other. We now typically don't see less than 2,000 pounds of just paper, that brown, those napkins, is being turned into soil every month. That's 2 restaurants in Durham, 1 ton. Can you imagine if we got 10% of Durham's restaurants composting their paper waste, just their paper? I mean, huge. So I try to do it by osmosis and word of mouth and that kind of thing. And when you go in there, tell them, I won't come back again unless you start paper composting wherever you eat. And you go, I want to say you're awesome for that question. Another thing we do is we give away, these are real poker chips. Every employee gets these. We have 1,000 in each restaurant. We're trying to give away 1,000 orders of our world famous, our Pear Street famous pickle chips. So their way of paying it forward is when they're out and you see somebody do good or do something, I want them to give away free food to everybody they meet. So I say to you, thank you for your question. I'm going to give you one now. You can come in and use it, or pay it forward and give it to someone you see out doing something great. Let's go. Free food, free gelato, free pickle chips.
Second question of the night. But I have to, it's not really a question. I have to say, my daughter gave me a gift certificate to Bull City Burger, and it was one of the best Christmas gifts I've ever gotten in my life. And your food is what brings people to you.
Thank you.
It's excellent, it's wonderful, and secret burger, that's all I'm gonna say.
Can't talk about this.
No. But I wonder where you started, because this.
I was born.
You're, because what you do is, everything that you're doing here tonight is very, like, evolved. So how did you make that move into pasture beef only, hormone-free pasture beef?
All selfish reasons. I like to eat burgers and beer, and I love that. And I just thought as I learned more and more, cooking and working with chefs, I went to University of America, CIA in New York, and when I graduated, I went into really top 5 restaurants. And it really gave me an exposure to things that other people don't get to work with and play with every day. And I started to meet farmers and see, why does this food taste better than that food? And it sort of began this path. And then I'm a bit of a contrarian and like to question and ask why, and do we have to do it that way? And that led me to learning about pasture-raised meats and pork and chicken and how things are. And I didn't want that for myself, and I didn't want it for my family. I've been clean since 2009, no corn-fed beef. And I really, that's a whole sermon I do every Saturday. You're welcome to come. We open the doors to the church, temple, synagogue, or mosque for pasture-raised beefism. And I really believe strongly that people should not be eating corn-fed beef. It's really bad for the animal, the planet, and really bad for us. And yet, this is what most of us eat in America every day. Corn is bad. It's the Darth Vader of. All right, do we have one more question? Or is that it? All right, she gets a pickle chip though. Thank you all very much.
So what I've definitely heard out of all 4 talks, and maybe this might help answer that question, is passion. I think that's where it really starts. You guys have and I kind of felt it through all the talks. And you started with, you've got a passion for something. And I definitely know not because I've ever done it, but talking to friends that own restaurants, you certainly don't open a restaurant because you want to become rich and be a millionaire and have weeks and weekends and nights off. Like, you do it because you love it. So thank you guys so much, and lady, for coming in here, sharing your passion, your stories, and really, just kind of enriching us. So if you're not hungry now, your next month is Food 2.0. Yes. So if your mouths aren't watering yet, next month we do this every third Thursday. So for all of you that raise your hands, the first time I've ever been here, this is the third Thursday of every single month. So Food 2.0 is not space food and all that fun stuff. It's not like the future of food. It is just because we've done food before, and so that's 2.0. So a few other announcements. Food truck rodeo, as if we're not talking about food enough, tomorrow, right? Is it on for tomorrow? But not on for the next week. That is Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. So go shopping or something. Just don't come to the food truck rodeo. So tomorrow we do a food truck rodeo out here. And then this space, it's all free down here on the first floor. So if you are in between Durham and Raleigh and Chapel Hill, you need a place to plop down and work out of. All these chairs are obviously removed, and there's tables and desks and things for you to work out of here. There's also tons of other things going on. I know you guys are hungry, so I will shut up. But thank you all so much for coming. We hope to see you next month for Food 2.0. Now you may go get you a food off.